All right, I'm gonna do something a little bit different today with resin. I'm gonna mess around with these guys, but not the normal way that you see me do. So let's have some fun. Howdy, howdy, this is Clara Lawrence. So I worked on another project recently and I used these acrylic paints from Jacquard. They're called Lumiere. I think I'm doing that right. And they're really pretty pearlescent color. And I used these colors together and it really gave a nice peacocky kind of look to it. And I thought that I would do that as the base for this piece and then do a very simple resin technique on top of it. And I have a feeling that this is going to turn out really, really cool. So let's get started. Okay. Now my thing to do, like with any paints, and I know a lot of artists and even, you know, other craftsmen and such will do this. When you're working with paints or solutions and such, it's always a good idea to put them into a container to use, because that way you don't risk the original product getting contaminated with something else, such as, you know, mixing up colors. You know, that way my blue always stays blue, my purple always stays purple. But by using a palette, or like a painter would put it in a container, you know, some kind of bucket or something like that. First off, it's easier to work from. Second thing, you know, if you tip it over, you don't lose all your product. But it also keeps your product nice and safe. So hopefully I can do this without getting it all over my hands since I'm not wearing gloves. Okay. These paints are gorgeous, and gorgeous is kind of an understatement on this. I've used these paints for a lot of different projects, and acrylic paints are one of those things that are very, very flexible. Well, literally, they kind of dry, and they are, if you can peel them off of the stuff, you'll notice that they're very flexible. And there's a bunch of different type of products you can add to acrylics and make them safe for using on clothing, you know, plastic, wood, you know, glass, whatever you have. And they just have a lot of purposes. So all I'm doing here is a very simple process of adding a bunch of colors to it, doing some blends, and then I'm going to just go up to, I think, the edge here. And if I go over, I can clean it off with a wet towel while this stuff is still wet, because it is a water-based product. And since this is a turntable, I can turn it. So I'm going to apply color to an area and then just gently go back and blend it into the next color. And if I need to add any more of that other color to it, I can just, you know, do it on top. And then blend it into the colors around it. And this is going to have a very painty like brush stroke in the background, and I am totally okay with that, because that adds some texture to the resin element, and that's a fun thing to play with. And by moving this around, it is actually drying up a little bit, and I'm able to do a second coat on some spots, make it a little thicker. So that way the wood's not showing through completely. I like the wood showing on the edges, definitely. But in the middle, I want to have the art. All right, okay, so I can see what I'm doing here. I'm not worried about the edges blending into the next color, but I want to make sure I at least do a decent job painting up the sides. Let's see. I believe this green here has a bit of an iridescent quality to it. And so I think that comes out and gives it that very peacocky kind of look to it. It's a new phrase, peacocky. Somebody's gonna give me a hard time about that one, I know it. So I had a lesson with Tish today. This would be Tish Wonders from The Artist Haven. And we decided to do some series of videos where she teaches me acrylics and I teach her resin. And that way it gets out some basic videos on techniques and such. And it's a fun way of doing things. It gets kind of tricky after a while when you're creating videos. It's like you want to come up with content that's helpful on a topic matter, and sometimes it's a matter of picking the right title or words or text or something like that so that you'll be able to find the video sometimes. So let's see, more blue green in there. And all I'm going to do here is put this to the side, let it dry, and then we'll work on our resin layer. We won't need to seal this up because the acrylic paints will seal up the wood. And see, I'm not worried about the brush strokes because the brush strokes will be kind of fun. Get some more purple in there. So if you've got a, nope, I was thinking about grabbing some purple. So it's like, nope, not grabbing purple. Grab some green. So if you got a design that you really like, maybe it's an image of artwork that you've fallen in love with, like a clipping, and you want to put that in your background, but you don't want it to be like the full thing. You just want it to be a background piece. You might be able to do something like this on top of it, but maybe use some transparent colors and show brush strokes and such. And then do resin over top of it. That might be really interesting too. Okay. Getting a little sloppy, but I'm also trying to vary the directions of the brush strokes so that way it's a little bit more interesting. I am almost done. I think we're good on that part. And I'm gonna put that to the side, let it dry, and then we'll get to our next step. Oh, let me bring you in. Wow, I'm looking at the screen, it looks all blue. Oh, let me bring you in. Okay, so those are the colors. You can see they're definitely 3 different shades. And that's what it's supposed to be. So we're getting a variation of different tones here. You see how we're getting some brush strokes and such? There's some little areas that are a little thicker. So that's what I was looking for. Yeah. Boy, you pull back and it's like, it's a blue piece. No, not quite. See you in a moment. I had to take this one outside for the reveal. It is cured up, but check that out. All right, let me zoom you in. You need to see details on this sucker. Not only the sparkles, but the depth in this is just off the charts. Very simple, but the combination of painted and the smoothness that you get with some of the resin, as well as the sparkle, I mean, that ghosted area, and the little ribbons of chameleon in there. What, 2 colors? Clear, white, and a chameleon on top of a painted surface. Very pretty. All right, there you go. All right, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, but definitely hit the bell to get notified next time I put a video up. Wait a minute. Hi, Chewy. Chewy. She's kind of going to look at me. Sorry, it wasn't focused. Anyway, check the links in the description below for my Etsy store because Christmas is coming. Hit my store. All kinds of price ranges. Also is Artist Till Death link because that's where I get all my colors in case you're interested. They one-stop shop there for any kind of resin work. Yeah. There you go.